Good evening, all. Rajshekhar introduced me briefly. I'll make it a little more elaborate. I am from the first batch. My name is Satish. Worked for a long time with Rallis, and right now working with a company called UPL. Good to share my thoughts on the industry, the pesticide industry, and the post-COVID or the COVID scenario. Right. These are, as needless to say, like Shiromani has verbally, visibly written it on the screen. It is all my personal views and nothing to do with the organization. Right. I was just wondering when I was making the presentation, what would have been the scenario today had there been no scare of Corona? Would have been looking at one of the best starts of a dream start for an agriculture season by farmers. A normal forecast, we're talking about more than 70% chances of normal and above normal. Moisture, favorable conditions, reservoir levels, low inventories in the chain, back to back two very good seasons to the farmer. So, but this thing has come up and made us all come together and discuss. Had this not been there, probably each one of us would have been huddled with our own teams, strategizing on how to get the maximum out of this good season and all. But that is nature. Nature wants us to collaborate, and that's what it is making us do now. I will make it very simple. I have just categorized it into challenges and the outlook. Outlook, a very brief one, probably mostly covered by the seed and the pesticides, seed and the fertilizer industry colleagues of mine. Within the challenges, I'm also trying to very broadly categorize it into macro and micro level. There would be overlaps here and there. Pardon me for that, but random thoughts that I tried to put on this slide. The macro challenges, I am seeing more of the availability challenges, the price volatility and China impact. More than price volatility, I would say price escalation, which is a concern now. Supply chain disruptions, which was very high, very audible in all the presentations I've seen till now, and liquidity and working capital concerns. At the more micro level, the farmer, at the trade level, it is the acreages and the timely cropping there, the labor availability, cash flows at the channel, at the farmer level, and the biggest challenge of farmer and customer outreach. On the challenges, if you look at availability seems to be, and one point I would want to tell you is I have taken a more optimistic outlook for the industry. I am very sure we are going to be out of it, and the season is going to be normal for all of us. And so I have not even thought of the other alternative. What happens if lockdown gets extended? We are hearing stories about the W curve. There will be repeated lockdowns and all. So, being agriculture, food is the most important requirement for us, and the government is taking very many measures to take care of this most important and critical industry. So I have only taken the most optimistic view right now. Even going by the optimistic view, there are challenges, and availability is going to be a challenge in the industry now. And if we can categorize the industry into, again, broadly, there is no you will not see this categorization anywhere. It's my general thought. If you categorize it into large manufacturers, manufacturers of proprietary molecules, the so-called multinationals, and the bigger would be big guys, and a lot of players are import dependent. Either they depend on the imports of technical raw materials or the import of finished products and formulating it in selling it. And there's also a equally large chunk of local formulators. Every state has its own set of local formulators who buy technicals or bulk from big guys and do it. And who among these are going to be, and all of these are going to impact the availability. I would say I would keep the first two guys a little more safer in situations. So the farmers have a reason to be happy about, because there are a set of companies which are back to back integrated. They have a good capacity to work on. So there is a chance that many of the molecules that these guys are going to manufacture in India, which they have, where the capacities are, you would get this problem. The material would be available. And take it with a pinch of salt. I'll come to it there later. Proprietary molecules, these normally the proprietary molecules which are mostly imported by the multinationals. They have a very robust planning process, so I would not see a much challenge of that those products being available, unless that again the supply chain constraints that I'm going to talk about. Import dependent, yes, here there is a problem there, because there is lot of raw materials, there are lot of finished products like kata, like glyphosate, like paraquat, which are all imported, predominantly imported, where there is a chance that there is going to be little delay or shortage in availabilities. The local formulators, these are the guys who are going to be big time affected, because in this kind of shortages, the companies would not really be able to part with the technicals or the bulk to the local formulators. So in a nutshell, if you ask me on the availability, I am going to cover it somewhere later also, I guess. But yes, if you again calendarize it, I am looking at a scenario where there is going to be a shortage of products which are going to be used in the first couple of months. Vamsi has mentioned about it, the herbicides. Definitely, there's going to be a challenge there. The initial round of the sucking pest insecticides or the early round products, there would be some products where there's going to be shortage. And after that, I think August onwards, the middle of Kharif onwards, I am not really seeing a big challenge. There would be exceptions, but yes, that's how I conclude. On the price hike and the China impact, you like it or not, there is a little bit of China in everything that we do, and pesticides is not an exception. There's a lot of dependence on China in terms of our technical imports or the raw material imports, on many finished goods imports. But the good news is China is getting back on track, and I think they're getting their acts together, and the supplies would start resuming, or if not resume. The only caveat here would be, I was talking to somebody in the industry a couple of days back. From the time a purchase order is raised till the time to China, and till the time it reaches the retailer shelf, you can take conveniently 60 days if everything is going flawlessly smooth. If everything, all steps are taken care of, it takes about 60 days. So there is a tightrope walk in terms of, though China is getting back to normal, limping back to normal, there is an issue with the availability there. On the, I told about the large manufacturers, there should not be an issue, but there are issues because there are disruptions in productions because of the labor shortages that are available. Madhav was mentioning about the chemical industries. You cannot have them operated with skeletal workforce. So the capacities, though you want, would not be for running. If you have every raw material also, you'll not be able to run in full, run the machines or the plants in full swing. So there are disruptions in productions which will all these add up to there's a supply chain supply demand gap, which will lead to price hikes. There are escalating costs also for the same reasons. There are labor shortages. Labor shortages because of which the capacities are being run at a very low rate, because of which the costs would go up per liter, per kg, production would go up, so which will obviously be passed on to the market. And as I said, this is going to impact the early season segments, and probably after June, July, or July, August, we should be, it's I personally believe that we should be out of it. This is the biggest challenge that is going to stay with us, even we take the most optimistic scenario of May 3rd, the lockdowns being lifted and everything being normal. But we have to stay with this liquidity crunch probably for the rest of this year. I think so. One of my seniors keep on saying this, which I love it. He says, आज की तारीख में लिक्विडिटी ही सत्य है, बाकी सब मिथ्य है. So it is somebody who's got cash in hand is the king today, for various reasons which I had mentioned earlier also, and uh, because of this, the likely impacts are that there is going to be across the chain, the terms are going to be squeezed. The credit terms, the contractual terms, whatever it is, they are going to be squeezed. So you will be operating on a very tight rope work. Uh, uh, this is all starting off with, if you ask me the starting point, though it's a cycle, if you want to catch hold of one starting point, it is the farmer produce. The farmer produces, he sells into the market, he gets money, he pays it to dealer, dealer pays to companies, company pays, uses it in manufacturing. So the starting point itself, see, I think both Madhav has mentioned it, Vamsi has also mentioned about it. There are delays in harvest. There is delay in terms of reaching the material to the right place and selling it. And after all that is done, with the kind of financial load that the governments are going through, how fast does this transfer of money from the exchequers to the farmers will go, particularly for the seed crops like rice and wheat, needs to be seen, which will further stretch the crunch we are facing on liquidity. Who is going to be the biggest affected? Each one of us are going to be impacted on it, but I think the small and local players will have a huge impact, because all said and done, the fixed costs would remain to be there, and they cannot really without going through a smooth cycle of business, they cannot get their act together, they cannot get their monies, they cannot invest on again buy their own technicals, or the bulk and start formulating. So these are some of the, and this is going to be there even in the most optimistic of the scenarios. If you ask the supply chain disruptions, I think it has been properly covered. I would not take too much time here. I talked about the production interruptions. The bigger challenge that I'm seeing more in pesticides, it is there in everywhere in pesticides, is the ancillary industries. It is not just getting it technical and bulking it and formulating it. It has the packing materials, the labels, the cartons, 100 other things that, though agriculture, agrochemicals, pesticides, seeds and fertilizers are categorized as essential commodities, and are being the production is being allowed, is it the same thing, is the same comfort being extended to these ancillary industries? I am not very sure. So they are facing these problems, and even if you have everything else, if you don't have a bottle to pack on, you are at loss. So that's a very big challenge that we'll be facing now. And even if May 3rd the whole thing gets stopped, gets lifted, there will be so much of rush to get those printings and the bottles ready. The capacities may not be sufficient to cater to all the companies, all the SKUs, and this would be there. The stretch would be there. Transportation challenges, very well covered. I would not really talk about it at both the primary factory to the CNFS to the channel. These are challenges. We are on the day. As I'm sitting here today, I'm going through that. And labor availability across the chain is again been talked about multiple times. On the micro level, I would say again, this I would not spend too much time here. The harvest and the sale of Rabi crop is very important. How fast is it going to happen? With all the social distancing norms and all, I am not very sure it will happen seamlessly and effortlessly, that season gets completed immediately and we go to the next season. Availability of seed and planting material, very well covered by my friends, and we also foresee this. Though the northern markets, the news is that cotton seed has reached the market, so and they're not seeing much problem. But Vamsi gives an angle of rice and the bulkier seeds, which is a problem, and I agree that there is going to be a problem. And if that doesn't happen, whatever we talk about pesticides and fertilizers is irrelevant. Will it impact the choice of crops? I am not very sure if it will impact the choice of crops, but yes, certain labor intensive, if this extends, and the June scenario, by the time the farmers take a call, probably they will go for a less labor intensive crop. But this is a guess, and we need to see how it really evolves into. The general restrictions would definitely stretch the planting time. It is not going to happen because the transplanting labor, uh, it is not the local labor in any place. You take Andhra, Telangana, you take Punjab, Haryana. It is not the local laborers that are involved in these laborious activities. It is basically the neighboring states labor that who come and do it. All of them have gone back to their states. Will they come back? How many of them will come back? Will it be sufficient to do the operations in the kind of speed and timelines that we normally are used to? Needs to be seen. I have my own doubts on that. Cash flows, I talked about this. This is going to be a problem. Credit to the channel. Why to the channel? Any vendor to his customer, the credit terms would get squeezed. Companies may likely review their credit terms with their dealers. We do not really have the comfort when there is a when the liquidity crunch is going to be the norm. We will not be comfortably extending the credit that we were extending to the same guy last year. So there will certainly be a kind of restrictions on the credit norms that we are doing. Because of this, the moment your credit norms change, the cash terms when we start doing business, the buying pattern of the channel may change. It may not so happen that it's the most. In fact, it is what we've been dreaming of all days. We can avoid bulk billing and all. Probably we may see will COVID force us to that kind of a ideal situation where there's a spread of sale properly. That would be a good thing to see, and I'm at least there will be an improvement in that direction. I hope so. Cash purchases, yes, I really feel that there would be an increased amount of cash purchases, more because there are lesser number of people who are ready, who will be willing to extend extended credits into the marketplace. The farmer and customer reach, there it is going to be subdued. This is going to be a big challenge. All the young managers, I think this is something who are in sales and marketing function. This is something which all of us need to put our brains on, because we need to come out with innovative ways of reaching our customers, both the farmers and the trade partners. There would be a restriction in travels. It will continue to be for some time, even if the lockouts are lifted. I think this is going to continue. We'll have to live with it. What will happen to the ATLs and BTLs? Because there will definitely be budget restrictions on the spend, considering the uncertainty. So you will not be able to do too much, spend too much on multimedia, sorry, on your mass media or electronic media or any of these ATLs. BTL activities, your restrictions will hamper your BTL activities. So what is the alternative? How do you reach them is going to be a big challenge. Feet on street, the FOs, TFAs, whatever we call. Again, there will be a pressure on our budgets, on the marketing spend, and and all of you know the biggest chunk of the marketing spend for our industry is the manpower. So will we have the comfort of having that many people feet on street? I have my own doubts if things don't improve. Way forward, let's all prepare ourselves for a new normal in everything that we do. The normal is going to shift in everything that we do, in the way you reach your farmers, in the way you operate your credit term, in the way you reach you service your dealers, everything there will be a change. And I think that's a good thing this is bringing in. This will certainly pave way for a higher mechanization and technology. I think Ritaprata's presentation, maybe I'll connect with him later, because I was thinking mechanization would improve and the tractors and all, the sale would actually improve, and once the usage of mechanization starts off, it will not stop. Next year they will not go back to manual. So I think that's going to be a big change now. That's what I thought. And at least in terms of sprayers, your transplanters, harvesting, all this, the manual interventions would be, at least there will be an attempt to minimize it to the extent possible, just because we are all pushed to the wall. We don't have an option of too many manpower working with us. Liquidity is going to be the king. So proactiveness in whoever is more proactive in garnering the available cash, he is the king. So innovative ideas of how best we pick up the monies from our market is the game. Tuning up our planning and forecasting ability is very important. And the cost of inefficiency is going to be much dearer than what it was earlier. Cost of inefficiency is always bad, but it is going to be much more dearer now. So when I said planning and forecasting, because you'll have to live with your transportation uncertainty, the labor uncertainty. So I just cannot say, okay, call up my factory and say I need 25 kl of this product tomorrow evening. This may not be possible. So you need to be more efficient in your planning and forecasting. We need to be more efficient in planning and forecasting. The probability of low competition from small and unorganized players, I touched upon it. With the kind of cost escalations that are happening, with the kind of term squeezes that are happening, the liquidity issues, I foresee some amount of reduction in the small and unorganized players there. It's an opportunity for many of us, but yes, it is a bad news for them. Will this impact the pseudo bios business? I personally feel yes, because there's a lot of China in it. So pseudo business will definitely go down. Innovative ways of reaching farmers, I mentioned about it. New modes of delivery, the Amazon models of delivery. Is this the right time for that to take off? Probably yes. Maybe we'll certainly see a shift towards that, if not a total change. And last but not the least, I think because we cannot have too many touch points with the farmer like what we were doing earlier. Your each connect should be so efficient and effective that he's bonded to you. And the only way of doing that, I feel, is through a bouquet of solutions, be it services, be it your entire package of practices. Get him bonded to your channel or the farmer. Get him bonded to you. That's one way of looking at how best we improve our efficiencies and effectiveness in the post-COVID world. Finally, I would want to conclude, say ki order is created from chaos, and this too shall pass. I am very hopeful. Super, thanks, Rajshekhar, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I have done my job.
Yeah, super, Satish. Thank you so much. Nice presentation. A lot of learning. To you.
Yeah, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is my last speaker. So bear with me for a few more minutes. Okay, so I'm Shyam Sundar Nalluri and strategy business lead in Kotava AgriScience. I worked for Rallis for almost 17 years and recently moved to Kotava AgriScience. My brief thoughts on current situation, especially I'll focus more on supply chain. A lot of points have been covered by our friends in various industries, starting from seeds to fertilizers to mechanization, drip irrigation, and also crop protection. Satish sir also covered in detail about micro, all the situation. I'll focus a little bit on actually what is going on and what could be the probable, you can say, scenarios. So it is divided into these three scenarios, you can say, phases. Mainly the different phases have different challenges, especially in pre-production area. If you see, there are definitely, you can see, the upstream suppliers at various levels. So we have to really go a little back to COVID situation in China before it started in India, because it started in January, and a lot of, you can say, raw materials which are part of almost, you can say, 60 to 70% of, you can say, crop protection chemicals are from China. So they got started disrupting there itself. Okay, one more point also, data point. Normally in the month of March, which is the financial year closing for almost all Indian companies, a lot of material will be placed in excess, 10 to 15% excess of material is placed, maybe because of the financial reasons, maybe because the utilizing their factory plant capacities and all. But suddenly when it was announced 22nd, it is complete lockdown. And it really is, many means almost all the companies, they could not really place material in the marketplace. Almost, you can say, one way it is blessing in disguise that market has been clean, but another way you can say there is a vacuum created because of the supply. We could not supply in the month of March. So that is also, you can say, we have to consider when supplies are there, it used to be a little bit stock to the extent of 10 to 15%, it is almost less than 5% in the market. So it is not only raw material or intermediaries, because a lot of, you can say, different companies operate in a different model. Many multinationals, they import formulation or maybe technical, uh, unlike you can say Indian companies. So, and some Indian companies also, you can say that a lot of raw material is coming from China. So all these things will impact because the port clearances, one of our friends also in fertilizer, they mentioned that the port clearances are really, really delayed. Because of that, all production lines are really, the supply chain which has planned completely, you can say they missed that rhythm. Okay, the particular dates which have been meant for production lines and all, now there is no coordination at all. So this has really, you can say, one cannot predict when production outcome comes out of the factory. It is very, very difficult to predict now. It is not only the main, you can say, the ingredient, which is, you can say that the formulation or maybe technical, and a small, you can say, ancillary industry supplier like a packing material, which Satish also highlighted, that is the real problem. Small bottles, also lack of small bottles, the production, entire production has been stopped now. And unfortunately, in agri input or maybe the crop protection industry, the suppliers are limited. There are 4 to 5 suppliers who are almost catering 70 to 80% of the industry. Once this particular May 3rd or maybe before that, it is lifted, there will be sudden demand, and definitely the meeting the demand will be very, very difficult actually. Okay, so this is from pre-production point of view. Production also, all of us are really aware, the labor shortage is there and factories are operating with almost 1/3 or 1/4 of, you can say, human resource. But in this situation, few companies who have, you can say, they have automation. Okay, even with the less number of human intervention, they can really produce. And few companies are there. So those companies will really take advantage of this situation where the human interventions are very, very limited. Even few companies are very good tie-up with the third party and they can expand their lines and all. They are already in talks with those companies and renewing their contracts and all. These third party expansions are also taking place to really meet the demand which is suddenly going to happen. Actually, if you see that this February to May season for crop protection industry, this is a golden period of production. This time normally Rabi closes and before it starts Kharif production or maybe supplies in the month of June. These 3 to 4 months are golden period. Normally they complete their production, the entire almost the 40 to 50% of their entire year's annual production they complete during this season. But because of this sudden scenario, you can say that every company's production plans have been disturbed. And moreover, the storage capacities also are limited at different places normally. So as soon as it completes, it moves to different places because of the travel request and transportation, you can say, restrictions. The plants are also not able to really handle the production. Whatever is happening, that is also another small constraint. So for the many companies are really planning. This is my personal view, nothing to do with the Kotava Agri Science. Normally, this is the time that if you have limited time and limited lines are available, then everybody will focus on high value or to the specific high profit margin products if permitted. Whatever the percentage is, every product will not have the same margin in product mix. So the priority will be shifted to high margin products first, then followed by so on and so forth. It is how it goes on. Similarly, many companies normally interchange their products. There is called institutional sales also. The excess capacity which is there, many companies, they give their bulk or in a different form to other companies. Now the constraints are so high, everybody will focus on their own brands. So because of this, maybe the generic players or maybe the who are also participating with the help of other companies, those supplies may disturb to the maximum extent. That is another. So in post production also, if you see, the last mile transportation is always challenging, like many of the speakers have mentioned. Working capital, no doubt, this is going to play a really critical role. And already there are indications and the mandates from the various companies when I was discussing with my industry colleagues that working capital management and the credit terms and credit policies are going to be reviewed. And many, we can say, the vendors are negotiating for terms in both the ways. So suppliers are asking for money and the other way it is extending. extending the demand supply situation is going to be very, very big problem. Because of now during their lockdown period by increasing their prices, and US, you can say US and European unions were almost many export countries. So the prices already gone up, the air freights have gone up. So all these things, and because the time is very, very less, instead of a seaway, which normally takes 2 to 3 months time to reach, but many of them, because of the time and to utilize the demand situation, may shift to airlift, and airlift normally is much, much costlier than the sea route. So that also already the indications are very, very clear that the prices may, to the extent of maybe the 5 to 10% in near future, and if situation continues, it may go further also. And the sales promotion budgets, definitely they are going to cut. Already the indications are there, but the thing is that how innovatively we use it, like other speakers also mentioned, is it digital going to play a vital role, and how to meet the customer, how to really communicate the messages which we used to do earlier. It is very, very, very challenging. So these are from supply challenges, but the collection is very, very critical, but nobody knows, because the Rabi harvesting crops are still on field. There are no labor, they have gone to their respective locations, and it is very, very difficult. Another thing is procurement, though government is making a lot of arrangements to procure, but still it is very, very challenging. The money is not coming back to retailer, and retailers to trade to companies back. So this is how really entire chain is disturbed now, especially the fruits and vegetables, which is the existing crop like mango or maybe grapes or maybe citrus. It is completely, you might be also receiving a lot of messages that the farmers directly want to supply their material to export-oriented crops like grapes, Nasik, almost it is standstill. So it is going to really huge loss, because all of them are perishable. They cannot store it, and it is going to be a permanent loss. Because of that, the money supplies or maybe the repayment capacity will come down, and it will completely disturb the money cycle. Okay, here the problem, at the same time, it is that if companies have a proprietary molecule, then definitely they will dictate the term and collect the money as much as possible. At the same time, where in the case of generics, then the dealers will dictate the term, because depend upon the demand and supply conditions. So both bargaining power of supplier and buyer will coexist for a certain time. As goes maybe after success, then the scenarios will change. Maybe there will be a huge shortage, maybe the shortage one side, or maybe the excess, you can say production also another side also. We cannot predict as of now, but next 2 to 3 months really very challenging, especially herbicides which have a limited window period, have a lot of challenges. So that's all from my side, and whatever the in detail discussion we can take it in chat and later. Thank you, Raj. Thank you very much.
Super.